Don't judge me. Everybody that plays golf plays a little bit in their living room. Don't judge me. Today we're going to talk about books. I'm reviewing a book, so let me just finish playing this and let's go. Listen to. And so 2 weeks ago, I was trying to sort of re-ginger my productivity. So I read Free to Focus by Michael Hyatt. It's a Kindle, so I can't show you sort of the book. It's a relatively good book. I will tell you what I learned, what I thought about the book. Michael Hyatt, the author himself, so he is an American. He was in university, started a publishing company, which in 1992 he then sold to a publisher. He then went to work there. I think he worked through the publishing ranks, became CEO of Thomas Nelson. I think it's a big deal in the publishing world. I don't know very much about the publishing world. And then I think when that either was sold or became a public company, he started a number of things. He started podcasting. So he has a podcast that I listen to once a while. It's not the most interesting podcast to me, but it's there are one or two really good ones in there. And then he's written a number of books. I think in 2018 he wrote your best year ever, which actually I think I will use when I go on my retreats, which it's a yearly planning strategy tool. So I'm planning to buy that and use that when I go on my in November. I plan for the next year, so when I go on my planning for 2020 and 2019. And so he wrote this book, I think, which is born out of, he also has a coaching practice. Sorry. Anyway, so he also has a coaching practice that he uses to help CEOs and people like that, because he's written a lot of books around productivity, around leadership, and so he uses that to help people focus and become more productive. And so I think that the book has come out of that. So the whole concept of the book is that in order to be productive, you must be free to focus on your most strategic tasks. That's not a new concept. It's not saying anything new here. I do like the fact that he has a lot of appendix documents. So if you buy the book, there is like a page where you can go and download all these documents that are templates that you can use in sort of designing your day and designing your productivity. So I really like that. I was looking for a book that was a how-to book, so it was brilliant for me. That moment. So he basically starts by saying to you, listen, what do you want out of life, right? So in order to actually be productive, you must go in the right direction, which is deciding what you want out of life. So designing and thinking through what your ideal life looks like. What does it look like in terms of family, work, free time, playtime? I mean, if you're like me and your ideal life would be to sort of get on a plane and go on tropical island in Thailand and wake up, go to the gym, have exercise, come back, read a book, do a little work and sleep. But we cannot get everything we want. So we're pretty realistic. We are realistic in terms of what you can achieve realistically in a few years, Thailand. In a few years. So the first part is actually helping you define what it is that you want, what your ideal life should look like. And then he asks that people do a list, just a brain dump of all the things that literally all the things that you have on your plate, right? So all the responsibilities that you have in your role, if you are in any sort of leadership position or you run a team, you know that list, it's just not enough hours in a day. That list will scare you, but it's good. Make that list. That's a good list to make. It will tell you that you need to be strategic about how you're going to achieve anything. I mean, I have on my list like simple things like sending out the Women in Tech Africa newsletter, to putting together the strategy for Dell Technology Consulting. Like, there's just not enough time in the day. And then he then goes on to, he tells you now take that list and then put that list in different zones, right? So he has these 4 zones here. So he has the disinterest zone. So you're proficient but you're not passionate. So when I need to put together my budget, I am proficient at putting together a budget. I am not passionate about working on Excel sheets. So that's disinterest zone. Drudgery zone is no passion, no proficiency. I don't even know where, like, no passion, no proficiency. Drudgery is no passion. Yeah, no passion, no proficiency. Forgive me. So no passion, no proficiency. So you don't have the skills or the competence, and you have no passion to do it. I don't know what. I don't think I have anything like that in my work life. So this is, I'm not going to show you that this is my list and how I put it in. Yeah, there isn't any drudgery. I wouldn't do it anyway. Like, if I have no passion or no proficiency, I would not be doing it. But these are, categorizing your tasks there. Then you have desire, which is passion and proficiency, where you have your competence and you have your passion. So for instance, for me, that would be consulting or working with at board level to help companies design their digital strategy for the year. I have a passion. I am not shy about sharing my opinions. I'm outspoken, right? So, and then I also love bringing value to technology. So I have technology advisory and technology building competence, and then I have a passion for just like telling people what to do. So that is the perfect sort of space that I'm in, which is why I built Adult Technology Consulting. I have a, again, desire zone, which is where you want to be most of the time, and then your distraction zone is something you're passionate about but not proficient. I don't know. Passionate about Instagram. I don't know, but not proficient in it. Like, there's a lot of people are passionate about social media. They spend a lot of time there anyway, but they're not proficient. They don't do it well. And so he asked that you put classify these tasks in the different groups. And the idea is, hold on. When I did this, the idea is then to begin to look at things that you can cut, like stop doing, automate, and delegate. So decide things you can work on, things you can automate, things you cut out, and things you can delegate. So the things in the disinterest zone should definitely be either cut out or automated. So if there are things in the disinterest zone that are still really important to your business, then you must delegate it to someone else to do it. Things in your drudgery zone, I think I'm paraphrasing, things no passion, no proficiency, again, cut out or delegated. Things in your desire zone you must keep, but you must also begin to look at the repetitive things in there and begin to automate. So If you get the book, he has a whole thing on how you can effectively automate, and you almost write a narrative of how that a thing should be done, and you use that as an automation. What I do is I create a flow chart of how things should be done, so that then you can now take that and automate. And automate doesn't always mean technology. It sometimes means like auto response email. So for instance, we get a lot of requests for me to come and speak. There is an automated process for that. So you when you send that email through my website, and you select on a speaker invitation, it then triggers an automated email that comes to you, that asks you to answer a few questions based on those questions, that goes in an Excel sheet which gets scored, and then based on that score, the decision as to where for me to go and speak is made. Now, because we get so many invitations, it makes sense to automate it in a way that I make the decision not on a one-on-one basis, but in a more simpler, easier way. So that also for my PA, it's simple to just pick and go, right? To say, okay, this and this. So it's only in exceptional cases, like for instance, where I was invited to, I'm invited to speak. It doesn't necessarily fit the status quo, but it's really important. Then I can look at one-on-one, and then I have time, right? Things in your distraction zone you're passionate about but not proficient. Definitely delegate, unless it's a hobby like this video. Definitely delegate. I have decided doing videos now are my hobby. Again, because I need something that I'm doing that's not profit driven, but allows me to sort of just blow up steam and do something interesting. So 4 areas, figure out where each one goes, and based on in the book he has a ways of showing you how to decide what gets automated. Then he goes on to help you design your ideal week and you design your ideal day, and he centers it around picking 3 big goals. So those 3 big goals, and it might seem like it's too little, but to be honest, I sometimes can't hit my 3 goals in a day, so not enough hours, and because they're complex goals. And so you plan your ideal day and ideal week around sort of your 3 main goals. And then he also talks about rituals, building rituals. So I have a morning ritual, and I alluded to that a little bit earlier. I have a morning ritual. And my morning ritual is I wake up, I go for an hour run, so I run about 5 kilometers in the morning. And then I come back, I do a little bit more exercise. So I should be done and have had breakfast by 8 o'clock. I do not in that time check social media or pick calls or anything of that sort, unless it's an emergency. And then after 8 o'clock, I settle in to work, and the first hour of my work day, the first 30 minutes of my work day is planning the day. Actually, I forgot to add in my day. If it's the beginning of the month, planning the month, or the beginning of the year, planning the year, or beginning of the quarter, planning the quarter. And then once I have my 3 big tasks for the day, I will then do an hour of reading, as based on the fact that when I was running, I had an audio book that I was listening to. That way I can read a book a week. I can read 1 book a week and make it through my goal of at least 100 books in a year. No, sorry. The goal of 30 books in a year. That's not 100 weeks in a year. Forgive me. So then I start my day. So he advocates creating a morning ritual, something that you do consistently. So get up, go and run, come back, do strategy for the day, so that you are used to it. You don't have to think about it. And so your morning is a little bit planned out. He also advocates for an evening ritual. I do not have an evening ritual. I just end my day. It's not necessarily good. The science shows that you do need a closing ritual, so that you close down and your mind can relax. So yeah, morning and evening ritual. Make 3 goals in the day. Then at the end of the book, he talks about the distractions. So social media, and other things that distract you. I genuinely recommend social media fast. I've taken Facebook and all the other social media off my phone except for Instagram, because Instagram is mobile, so it makes sense. But yeah, he's a clear advocate on, in order to focus, you need lots of uninterrupted time to actually do deep work. I've also read the book Deep Work by Cal Newport. I might do a review of that book too. And so for him, it is that you must learn to. I do this thing now sometimes where I will time myself for an hour. There are tools like turning off your internet. There's a lot of tools that he shows off in the book that you can use to keep you free from the internet and social media distractions, so you can actually produce work. And people have shown that some people have gotten off the internet and gotten off social media and been able to produce, books. So I'm just saying. Anyway, so here's what I think. I think that there's nothing new here. But he's packaged it really well. Just so in terms of, it's a good how-to book. And if you need to sort of revamp your productivity, it's a good book to use. It's really meant for people that are in leadership positions and have control over their time. So if you are in like a customer service role, or in a role that or you're a PA or a chief of staff and you really don't have control of your time, it's useful, but it's not woefully useful if somebody's interjecting and giving you interjecting and giving you tasks. It's a little harder to be in the role. To use this book, he does teach. He has a good line, good teach on how to say no. It's also a really good part of the book. Almost learn how to say no. I've learned how to say no to invitations, to speak, invitations to be part of projects or do interesting things. He asks that you actually write down your no response, so that it's just a copy and paste every time people ask, so you don't have to think about it. So yeah, it's good for and he says for people that have a boss, are in areas where things are interjected, maybe it's there. He puts in some things in there how you can help work with your boss. I think if your boss realizes you're more productive, if he just leaves you alone for a while, you might be able to convince. But it's primarily for people in leadership, people who own teams and run teams. So if you're not, it might not necessarily be the best book for you. I think I'm coming down with a cold. Anyway, so, and he has a really good list of questions to ask yourself. Let me go find them. Hold on. One moment. So there's a list of questions that he has that in helping you sort of design your plan, your big three, your plan for the day. Okay, I've made it a little bit like mine, but I've made it a little bit mine, but I'll read it. So he has a list of questions. I made it step 1, step 2, step 3. 1, list your big wins. I also have on my own a list of questions I ask myself every day, which I fill out in Excel sheets, which is based on my 5 big goals for the week. So that's my thing, is first fill out the weekly big goals. What did I do to achieve these weekly big goals on a daily basis? Then he says review your prior week. So list your big wins, then review your prior week. So how far did you get with your major task last week? What worked and what did not work? What will you keep? What will you improve? What will you start? What will you stop doing based on what you've just identified? Then I have in there myself, is there any action points from meetings that I've had the previous week that need to go into my goals for this week? So yeah, that's one set. I also have, there are things in there that are mine, but I can't remember which are his and whatever, so I've made it my own. again, review your list of tasks that you have currently that you're working on. Then I have, this is specific mine, get feedback. What happened to your delegated task from last week? So just getting feedback. And then what happened to the tasks that were not done last week? Can you look at them? Can you eliminate them? Can you delegate? Can you defer them? Can you prioritize them, or you can automate them? Then this, I think, is wholly mine, but check in with your major annual goals. Check in with your alignment with your major annual goals. Check your calendar, what meetings you have for the week coming in. Check your pending deadlines. Do you have any proposals or applications that need to be put in the next 1 to 3 weeks? And all that then goes to define what your 3 big goals for that week is, and then you can extract your 3 big goals for the day. And then I have a final step 6 is, have you shared your main goals with your team? That way the team knows to align with me, especially with my chief of staff and my PA. Then they know what I'm trying to achieve this week, and then they can work with me to make those things achievable. And then I also have one last one, which I add. Again, I made it my own, but you know what I mean, which is, I might actually just do a thing on just this ones. What 3 people will you meet this week? And I try and increase my network. So one of the things that I work hard at really being is being in the middle of a really good network where I'm a good connector of people and persons, and people come to me so that I can network with people, which means I have to grow my network always. So I always have a list of 3 people. Which 3 people will I meet this week? And it's either I'm Skyping if I'm not in the country that they're in, or I'm emailing, or I'm meeting them face to face. And I use LinkedIn to just find those people. So I think Free to Focus is a good book. If you are in leadership and you're just feeling overwhelmed, it's a good how-to book. And it's a good step-by-step book. So if you want to get it, you should definitely get it. If you're not, there's nothing new there. I'm saying this again, like if you've read other productivity goods, there's nothing new, but it is, it's structured in a way that will help you get back on the productivity bandwagon. So that's been my review of the book by Free to Focus by Michael Hyatt. You can get it on Amazon. How much did I get it for? I got it with the audiobook, so I don't know, I think like $10. It's a good book. You should definitely check it out. Thank you for taking the time out to listen to my review of Free to Focus, a good productivity manual. I think I'll do a bit more on the productivity and distractions, because I read quite a number of books on it just to try to center me at the beginning of the year. So that might be good. So my name is Ethel Kofi. I am CEO of Adult Technology Consulting and founder of Women in Tech Africa. I work in the space of leadership, technology, and business. So if you haven't met me before, hello, welcome to my video, and hope to see you back next week. Enjoy. So if you play golf, you should be productive so that you can get more, you can be free to focus and play golf. I'm just saying, this is one of the advantages of being free to focus. You can play golf.